society is becoming more guarded when it comes to sexuality, but there are still some jobs where sexuality runs free. What are some jobs where seduction fits into your resume?
Ooh.
I mean, I think we can all say the most apparent answer, actors.
I was just gonna say that.
Because we have to perform sex scenes.
Come on,
Yes.
but come on. But like, I mean, everything's about first impressions. Let's not, you know what I mean? Like, play around. You know that it's like that first impression when you're going to interview somebody and they come in and you look at them. If you find them attractive or you think they're good looking or whatever, you might pay a little more attention. You know what I mean?
Oh, even if you're not an actor, you mean like an 11-day
Even if in
situation?
general,
Yes.
in general,
Totally.
in general.
But aren't we all sexual beings? So like just being sexual sometimes is stigmatized as a negative thing sometimes. And I'm not saying we should all walk around like being like, hey, but at the same time, you know, we are sexual beings.
Yeah,
at the
I
end of the day.
agree.
I think it usually ties into professions where you are trying to sell something. Whether it's a luxury store and you're trying to sell that shiny new Prada bag, or even a real estate agent. They're selling you, you know, they're walking you through the house and they're selling this fantasy of what your life could look like. They're trying to seduce you into creating this image in your mind.
But aren't we always selling something in any business?
I don't know what you sell.
You're like, no, I mean, please, I wish. I'm from the dumb crowd, like, give it for free. No, you are selling something, whether it's any kind of work that you're doing, like you want to do the best that you can, you want to sell it the best way, you want to present it the best way that you can.
That's where it
to
comes
convince
in, though.
somebody.
It comes in the pitching. It comes in the aspects of your personality and your physical being that you heighten up in that pitch.
Well, but when it's wrapped in a pretty package, people pay attention.
Well, I mean, I'm sorry, but if I own a business and I have to hire an accountant, I'm not gonna hire the one that turns me on. I'm gonna hire the one that has, you know, the background and the knowledge to keep my numbers
Are you
right.
sure? I
I mean,
I don't know. I mean, because if you have two accountants that can do the job and you have a good-looking one and you have an ugly one,
You would hire
I
the
doubt-
good-looking one a
I mean,
little
I'm
bit
just
over the
trying
one
to be
that
honest
never,
about it.
that doesn't like the nose hair, like
That's
it isn't
different.
well
I'm trying to be
kept.
honest about it. I think that
I
you're
see what you're
playing
saying.
That's a different
I see what
topic.
you're
You know what I mean?
saying. Yeah, no,
It's
I do.
like-
Because you know what?
It's the packaging. Come
Yes,
on, don't
yes.
don't
But at the
lie.
same time, like some people actually could argue against that and say that it could be distracting if someone is too good looking.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I've even heard that some people won't get hired because, you know, the wife doesn't want the nanny to be too good looking.
that's
That happens.
true.
Or they don't want the secretary to be,
Well, 'cause
which at the end of the day, it usually comes back to, you know, men not being able to control themselves and needing to, you know, not feel tempted. You know, whose fault is that at the end of the day?
Yeah, but you think women feel the same way sometimes too? Come on.
But they're not gonna, you know, take
Who
advantage
says
of their...
that? Who?
I
Like
mean-
now that's like now you're being discriminating. Like now you're discriminating.
I don't feel like it's discrimination. I feel like it's just statistics and, you know, just
Yeah.
looking at the
Men
numbers
are
of people.
dogs.
You know what I mean?
Women are not.
I mean, everything is about the first impression and the packaging.
Well, think about Ugly Betty. Remember Betty La Fea?
Yeah.
When Betty La Fea was hired originally, it was not because of her looks, even though that, you know, she was... They wanted to hire someone pretty because, you know, the boss wanted someone pretty. But at the end, you know, she was the smarter one, she was the most educated one, and the most capable one of being able to do her job. So I do think that in the end, that's what's most important. But I do believe that there are definitely a lot of advantages to having pretty privilege.
I'm just
it-
laughing
yeah.
because she is a fictional character.
but, no, but hold on. I was gonna say no. But you know what?
But yeah, I feel like it's just one time, Snow White.
Ugly Betty has sold. No, I was gonna say. Actually, that's a great example because Ugly Betty has sold in many different markets, done in many different languages, and the story keeps on resonating with everybody.
'Cause it's relatable.
So it's relatable, and it's something that we all feel. At the end of the day, it's like something that we can understand.
So you do agree with me then?
I 100% agree with you.
Okay.
But it's related in what? Like the whole idea of that show, the whole idea of Betty La Fea was it's definitely moving around that whole concept of like taking a risk on the ugly girl. I'm just gonna give her a break. And all these beautiful people that work in that office. You know what I mean? So it's like people go like, oh wow, like, you know, we're giving the chance to in a fictional situation, in a fictional character, where in the Colombian telenovela, she falls in love with her boss and her boss with her.
True.
All I know is on all my hours on this show, I've learned one thing, that if two Latinos, even if they're agreeing with each other, sound like they're in a fight.